But so like libertarianism is in kind of the same place. And I think
Hmm.
that one of the mistakes I see people make when they talk about libertarianism, like persuading people to be libertarian, is that like they want to jump right to the kind they've got a product that has very little market share and they want to jump right to how to sell it to like the most normal person, right?
Hmm.
But the normal person is not going to join a group that's that unpopular.
Hmm.
Right? Like the normal person, those things might help sell it, but what sells it to the normal person is also them looking around and saying, "Oh, and that person has it, and it does what?" You know, but they're never going to buy it. Even if they're sold, you know, you can present it in the most normal way. They're not going to be go first. The guy who buys something, who's the 1 millionth person to buy something or 10 millionth person to buy something, like he's just not going to be the second guy to buy something. He's just not. They're different psychologies. They're different people, and and same kind of thing with libertarianism. Like whatever it might be to succeed, you've got to figure out what moves the needle from where you are to like twice where you are. So if you're at
Hmm.
2%, how do you get to 4 or 5%? Like you're not. It's very rare that you're going extremely rare that you're going to jump from that like to the mainstream. And so that's the question that should be asking from a starter perspective. Like, and maybe Amash can do that. I'm not saying you can't, but like the that those people, whoever, like, and you can look, people attracted to libertarianism right now, for the most part, are not that normal. They're not the middle of the type person. Right? Because that's not, yeah, because that's also because that's not what politics is about. We don't just believe things because we're like, this policy would be the best and I vote for it. No, you're joining a tribe, you're joining a team, you're joining all this affiliated things. I mentioned earlier, I was saying it's weird that it's actually not that weird, that all these things get packed in. And so that's like, that's what that person has to be signing up for. So you've got to make that appealing to someone who's going to go and say, well, that team has 150 million people on it. That team's got 150 million people on it. I want to join the team with 2 million people on it or 5 million people on it or whatever, right? And so you're by definition appealing to people who are like a little, who are something more like that early adopter at a startup or something like
Hmm.
this. They're not the middle of the curve or the late curve adopter.
Agreed.
And so I think that's like an important point to keep in mind. I don't think that leads to some particular answer. I think it does lead to like being more comfortable with experimenting. I will say that, like, we should be comfortable with experimenting because you don't know what works. But I don't think, I'm not trying to lead people towards any particular answer. I just think it's a good question to ask.
Shut up and sit down.